Oh, hello there. Label Lifts here. In today's video, we're going to be talking about macros and an easy way for you to set them up so you can be looking your best this summer. So like the scale said, I weigh 181.4 pounds. Just woke up and I haven't had any food yet. This is what I'm working with currently. As you can see, I'm fairly lean. I have some striations, but nothing too crazy yet. Coming up next, I'll show you what adjustments I make to my diet when summer's right around the corner, so I can take my physique to the next level. Alright guys, so 2 key points that I want to start off with are some basic nutrition. So for every 1 gram of protein, there are 4 calories. For every 1 gram of carbohydrate, there's also 4 calories. And for every 1 gram of fat, there's actually 9 calories. That'll come into play later. And point B is that even though you can set up your macros this way, don't just plug in the same numbers I use in the video and expect to have the same results. Everybody is different, so everyone's going to have different macros. But we'll go over how to find out what yours are. So first things first, you want to find out what your maintenance calories are. What I mean by this is the number of calories you need to consume in order to stay exactly the same. The easiest way to do this is to look up a calorie calculator online and plug in your information. I'll put the link to the one I use in the description box down below. It takes account your age, your sex, your current weight, and your activity level. It plugs all that in, does a whole bunch of calculations, and it gives you your maintenance calories. Once you have your maintenance calories figured out, you want to be at a deficit. So you want to be under that number. Remember, we want to be losing weight. A pound of body fat is 3,500 calories. So a good starting point is to be at a deficit of 500 calories. So by the end of the week, you'll roughly be losing 1 pound. So for myself, 2,800 calories would be my maintenance calories. But since I want to be at a deficit, we're going to subtract 500 from that, putting me at 2,300 calories per day. So moving on to protein intake. You need anywhere from 0.8 grams to 1.1 grams per pound of body weight. Using myself as an example, on the lower end of the spectrum, I would need 145 grams of protein. On the opposite end of the spectrum, I would need 199 grams of protein per pound of body weight. Since I'm starting this cutoff fairly lean, I'm going to start at 1 gram per pound of body weight, which puts me at 181 grams of protein per day. My recommendation is if you have a lot of body fat to lose, start on the lower end of the spectrum with the 0.8 grams, but as you continue to lose body fat and get leaner and leaner, you'll need more protein to preserve that lean muscle mass as you cut down. Now we're going to talk about fat intake. Your total fat intake should be anywhere from 15 to 25% of your total calories. Using myself as the example, I would need 345 calories from fat on the lower end of the spectrum. On the higher end of the spectrum, 25%, I would need 575 calories from fat. But wait, there's actually one more step. Remember how we mentioned that for every 1 gram of fat, there was 9 calories? We're going to have to take those two totals and divide them by 9. So in actuality, on the low end of the spectrum, I need 38 grams of fat, and on the higher end of the spectrum, I need 64 grams of fat. Thanks a lot, algebra! When it comes to fat intake, I like to start on the lower end of the spectrum, or the 15%. The reason for this is that it allows for more wiggle room as the diet continues. I'll do a more in-depth video on this in the future, but basically it allows me to increase that fat intake as I lower carbohydrates, or what is known as carb cycling. And finally, but definitely not least, we have carbohydrates. In order to find out our total carb intake, we take our total calories for the day, so 2,300 for myself, and subtract our total calories from fats and proteins. So using myself as the example, we'll take 345 calories from fats, and in order to get our calories from protein, we take 181 times 4, because remember, there's 4 calories for every 1 gram of protein, which comes out to 724 calories from protein. We subtract both those numbers from 2,300 and get 1,231. We visit our good old friend algebra one more time and divide that number by 4 in order to get 308 grams of carbohydrates for the day. And to have a quick recap, I have 181 grams of protein, 38 grams of fat, and 308 grams of carbohydrates, which all equal 2,300 calories for the day. Like I said earlier, you won't have the exact same numbers as me, but you can follow the same template to find out what your own macros would be. I'm excited to document this journey and share it with you guys. I'll be posting what I do on a regular basis to diet down and get into that peak summer conditioning. And I'll also share what modifications I make in my diet as the diet progresses. That being said, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. This is Leva Lifts. Have a good one, guys.